Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Emily Apple Newby, and I am part of the Evidence Building Support, or EBS, team for the 421 Disability Innovation Fund, or DIF, grant. This session will explore some ways the DIF grantees collaborate with their independent evaluators. We will speak with project staff and the independent evaluator from two DIF projects so you can hear about their partnerships directly. We will also spotlight a tool that provides helpful guidelines for working with third-party evaluators. Slide 2, 421F DIF project evaluations. First, let's review how the evaluation for DIF grant projects were described in the 421F NIA, or Notice Inviting Applications. First, design and implement a rigorous evaluation plan. It begins with developing a comprehensive evaluation plan. This plan must be methodologically sound, aligned with the project's logic model, and capable of measuring both implementation and outcomes. Second, collaborate with the project team. While maintaining independence, the evaluator works closely with the project team to ensure the evaluation is integrated into the project's design and operations. Third, collect and analyze data. Data collection is ongoing and includes both quantitative and qualitative methods. The evaluator ensures that the data is valid, reliable, and relevant to the evaluation questions. Fourth, monitor implementation fidelity. Evaluators assess whether the project is being implemented as intended. This includes identifying any deviations and understanding their impact on the outcomes. Fifth, assess project outcomes. Evaluators measure the effectiveness of the project in achieving its intended goals, especially improvements in competitive integrated employment for individuals with disabilities. Six, provide formative feedback. Throughout the project, evaluators deliver timely feedback to help the team make data-informed adjustments and improve implementation. 7, ensure objectivity and independence. To maintain credibility, evaluators must remain independent from the project's implementation team and avoid any conflicts of interest. 8, submit evaluation reports. Evaluators are responsible for submitting interim and final reports to the Department of Education, detailing findings, lessons learned, and recommendations. Finally, support dissemination. Evaluators help share the results of the evaluation broadly through publications, presentations, and digital platforms, ensuring that findings are accessible and actionable. Together, these responsibilities ensure that the evaluation contributes to continuous improvement, accountability, and the broader evidence base for disability employment strategies. You can see from this description how having an independent evaluator, someone not employed by the grantee agency, would be key to achieving these goals. Slide 3, defining roles and responsibilities. A good evaluator should be willing to collaborate with you to design an evaluation that meets your needs and requirements. They should also communicate in simple and practical terms, be familiar with employment programming, and offer enough time to execute the evaluation effectively. They do not need to be the one doing intake and obtaining participant consent, or contacting program participants after the program ends to fill out a survey. That could be something the staff handles. And then the evaluator needs to be the one analyzing the data, creating the interpretations, and sharing that information back with the grantee. Also, qualitative data collection, like a focus group, should be done by the evaluation staff. Your project's contract with the independent evaluator should cover roles and responsibilities, data ownership, and how progress updates will be communicated. Ensure the evaluator understands that your project has multiple interested parties, such as the grantee organization, the Rehabilitation Services Administration, and the cross-site evaluation. They should be prepared for potential adaptations or changes to their evaluation plan and contract. Additional resources on developing a statement of work for the evaluator appear on this slide. The first is hire and manage your external evaluator in the Administration for Children and Families Office of Planning, Research and Evaluation Program Manager's Guide to Evaluation. The second is the scope of work article from Better Evaluation. The third is managing an external evaluation presentation from the Corporation for National and Community Services. Slide 4, families achieving self-sufficiency together. Now we are going to shift to our first grantee spotlight. Displayed on the screen are images of grantee staff and the independent evaluator. We are joined today by Lucas Halverson and Kathy Davis of ServiceSource, who together manage a 421F DIF grant project. We also have Dr. Lauren McLean of Grantably, the independent evaluator for ServiceSource's DIF project. Lucas, Kathy, and Lauren, thank you for joining to tell us about your partnership. Lucas, please tell us about your DIF project.
All right, our project is called Families Achieving Self-Sufficiency Together, or FAST. It focuses on helping youth and adults with disabilities, particularly those that are eligible for or are receiving temporary assistance for needy families, or TANF benefits, to navigate and eliminate employment barriers, connect with vocational rehabilitation services, receive pre-employment transition services, gain employment readiness skills, and gain financial capability leading to self-sufficiency and financial stability. We're supporting individuals with disabilities across multiple geographic regions throughout the United States.
Emily here, thank you. How did you identify Lauren as a potential partner for your DIF project?
We met with a few evaluators, but they didn't quite align with our needs. Then we attended the kickoff meeting for the evidence building support contract, and we were introduced to the American Evaluation Association's Find an Evaluator website. We used that website with some targeted keywords like employment and disability, and came across Grantably. After our first meeting with Dr. Lauren McLean from Grantably, we felt they were going to be a strong fit for our project's independent evaluator needs. She was genuinely interested, had relevant experience, and was open to our collaborative model.
Emily again. Let's turn to Lauren. How did you know this project would be a good fit for your firm?
My business partner, Dr. Angelica Golbis, and I are both sociologists by training. We care deeply about how identity and life circumstances, like living with a disability, shape a person's opportunity to lead an authentic and successful life. Also interested in the relationship between individuals and the institutions around them, how systems influence people, and how people in turn shape those systems. This project reflects all of that. Sometimes people need additional support to reach their goals, and that's exactly what ServiceSource is providing through this grant. But they aren't just helping people get jobs. They're addressing the real life needs that affect someone's ability to secure and keep employment, like housing, food access, childcare, and financial literacy. That told us that they truly understand that people don't live in a vacuum, and that a holistic, human-centered approach is key to helping people build independent, fulfilling lives. This is exactly the type of project we love working on. In addition, Kathy and Lucas were people we quickly had respect for and knew would be fun to work with.
Emily here. Excellent. Kathy, what was the initial scope of work for Lauren and her team?
We followed the Notice Inviting Applications, or the NIA, closely, which outlines 12 requirements for the independent evaluation. We incorporated those into our contract with Grantably and ensured there was no overlap with my role as internal evaluator. My focus is on internal programmatic evaluation and ensuring alignment with project goals.
Emily again. Thank you. Turning to Lauren, what questions did you ask to get to know the project?
I wanted to understand the different locations, population served, and what competitive integrated employment meant in practice. I was impressed by their commitment to serving people with all types of disabilities and employment goals. Their grant proposal already had a strong evaluation plan, so my role has been to refine and support it. We've been mapping responsibilities and timelines collaboratively.
Emily again. How have you divided evaluation responsibilities between your team, Lucas, and Lauren's team?
It's been evolving, but we've strategically divided tasks. Lauren leads the implementation of our approved evaluation plan. Kathy supports day-to-day evaluation activities, ensures data quality, and facilitates communication. I help guide decisions based on their input. I'm largely involved with our project teams. We recently had kickoff meetings with all 6 teams to clarify roles and emphasize that evaluation's about telling our project story.
Emily again. Lauren, do you have any advice for other grantees on working with an independent evaluator?
Yes, view your evaluator as a partner, not a watchdog. Evaluation should be collaborative, transparent, and focused on improvement. Build relationships, communicate openly, and share access to data systems. Our goal is to help you do even more good with the great work you're already doing.
Emily again. Turning to Kathy and Lucas, what advice do you have for your peer grantees on working with an independent evaluator?
Stay focused on your project's goals and revisit your original proposal often. That's what you were funded to do. Relationships are important, but so is staying mission-driven. We chose Grantably for a reason, and the mutual respect among our teams has been key to our success.
I would say strong collaboration. It ensures credible and measurable outcomes. Involve your evaluator early, maintain open communication, and treat them as a strategic partner. I found a quote that I think sums it up. The quote is, "A well-integrated evaluator is not just a reviewer, they're a strategic partner in your project's success."
This is Emily. I want to thank you all so much for your time. Slide 5, Tech Reach. Now for our second grantee spotlight. Displayed on the screen are images of grantee staff and the independent evaluator. We are joined by Bianca Williams, who directs the 421F DIF grant project at Volunteers of America, Texas. We also have Julie Attella of Wilder Research, the independent evaluator for this DIF project. Bianca, please tell us a little bit about your DIF project.
Yes, I'm Bianca Williams with Volunteers of America Texas, Inc. TechReach program provides individualized workforce development and financial stability services to participants on a wide spectrum of disabilities, from intellectual and developmental disabilities to invisible disabilities. As an agency that has over the years served many vulnerable populations in the areas of disability services, as well as employment and financial literacy, we leveraged and expanded on two existing programs, offering more support that we believe will lead to more meaningful and long-term employment. Our focus is to help individuals with disabilities find and maintain competitive integrated employment, increasing their technological skills to advance in high-tech careers. We provide training opportunities, building on the strengths and desires of clients and their families to develop services that improve their quality of life. Those training services include client-specific training, employment assistance, job placement, job skills training, supportive employment, financial literacy, and work experience opportunities. Our focus is also to help individuals improve their financial knowledge and health with services to support increased wages, improved finances, and access. Experience has shown us that once an individual gets a job, they need support to help them not only maintain their job, but also how to begin to improve their financial stability outcomes. Offering individualized, supportive, and wraparound services and partnering with others in our community to provide needed resources, TechReach helps underserved populations thrive and contribute to their communities.
Emily again. Thanks so much, Bianca. How did you identify Wilder as a potential partner for your DIF project, and what was the initial scope of work like?
Yes, this is Bianca. VOA Texas has worked with Wilder Research for a number of years, partnering with them on various grants. When this solicitation was announced, we reached out to them to see if they would have the interest and capacity to work on the evaluation with us. As is true with most grants, especially large ones, there were a lot of unknowns about what the scope of work would actually look like. But due to our past experience working together, we knew that we would be able to navigate things collaboratively and make any tweaks or shifts in the proposed approach if we were awarded funding. Our decision to work together again speaks to the power of building relationships and trust in this sector over time.
Emily here. Thank you. Julie, what questions did you have for Bianca and her team about the project, and what information did you need in order to develop the evaluation plan?
Great question, Emily. I'm Julie Atella with Wilder Research. Well, we believe that open communication and collaboration are key. A successful evaluation plan reflects the realities of the program while maintaining methodological rigor. We work best when there's a shared understanding of the purpose of the evaluation and a commitment to using the results to inform learning, improvement, and accountability. To develop a strong and meaningful evaluation plan, and one that meets the needs of the grant, we wanted to be sure we had a clear understanding of the program's goals, objectives, and intended outcomes. To do so, we have met with the VOA Texas team a number of times and continue meeting monthly, allowing us to have a better understanding of what was important to them and at a high level, understand the types of stories that would be important to share to understand the VOA Texas program's outcomes and impacts. This strategy has helped us collaborative partners narrow down the evaluation questions to fit within a realistic scope of the project. We created an evaluation matrix, which was derived from the components in the solicitation to see what the program's priorities were in terms of answering the questions they wanted to know. We then took the information provided by our EBS liaison to help prioritize the items we knew we had to answer and things that we may need to hold off on and or work on differently based on the allotted budget and time frame. We also asked for program documentation, including the program logic model, which we collectively worked on together over the past few months with the guidance of our EBS liaison. During our meetings, we also asked the VOA Texas team to share with us how the program operates on a day-to-day basis. For instance, who the key stakeholders are, what services are delivered, and who the target population is. It's also important to know what data are already being collected, the quality of those data, and whether there are any existing reporting requirements or constraints. This helped us get to the documentation ready for our Institutional Review Board or IRB submission, which has also been another discussion item. We intend on gathering ongoing input from program staff and leadership to learn about their priorities for evaluation as they evolve and having their input and approval of what questions they want answered, what decisions they need data to support, and what they hope to learn or demonstrate through the evaluation.
Emily again. Bianca, how have you chosen to allocate responsibilities for evaluation activities between your team and the Wilder team?
This is Bianca. There are inherent program activities in place that will require data collection, such as doing intake and exit. We are in the process of working with Wilder to understand where these data components are pre-existing within our program, and therefore we can create alignment across the whole evaluation to reduce burden for our clients. This ensures that we are being strategic and efficient in how we gather, share, and use information together to both benefit our programming and support the evaluation process.
Emily again. Thank you. Turning to Julie, do you have any advice for DIF grantees about how to collaborate effectively with their independent evaluators?
Julie here. Yes, we feel very fortunate to have the relationship we do with VOA Texas. Even with distance between us, according to Google Maps, it's about 1,173 miles, we have established a trusting relationship and are able to discuss things up front. It is also important to remember that evaluating a program, especially one as complex and important as this, will be an ongoing process and that all questions cannot be answered right away, which is why at Wilder we always try to build internal capacity into every evaluation we do, hoping that programs can continue using the tools that we created together even after the current funding stream is over, allowing them to continue to learn and evaluate the needs of their program.
Emily again. Turning to Bianca, what about you? Any advice for your fellow grantees?
Sure. This is Bianca. We are fortunate to partner with Wilder as our independent evaluator, and our experiences taught us several key strategies for fostering a successful collaboration. 1, over-communicate. Ensure that communication is clear and frequent. Sharing updates and feedback regularly helps build trust and understanding. 2, meet often to brainstorm. Schedule regular meetings to discuss ideas, challenges, and progress. This collaborative approach leads to innovative solutions and strengthens our partnership. 3, share best practices. Take advantage of each other's experiences. Sharing insights and successful strategies can enhance learning and improve evaluation processes. 4, embrace innovation. Be open to trying new methods and tools. An innovative mindset fosters creativity and adaptability in our evaluations. 5, consistent collaboration. Make collaboration a cornerstone of your work with the evaluator. Engaging together throughout the evaluation process ensures that all voices are heard and valued. By following these practices, we can maximize the impact of our evaluations and ultimately achieve our collective goals more effectively. Let us support each other in this journey of growth and learning.
Emily here. Thank you both for your time and sharing these insights. Slide 6, helpful resource. As we wrap up this session, we want to spotlight one resource from the DIF EBS resource packet that is particularly relevant. It's a document called Guidelines for Working with Third-Party Evaluators from a project sponsored by the Office of Special Education Programs at the United States Department of Education. It contains 4 valuable, succinct tools to foster mutual understanding, accountability, and high-quality evaluation practices. You can access the tool in the National Clearinghouse of Rehabilitation Training Materials, NCRTM, library by selecting the link in the YouTube description below. Slide 7, Evaluation Progress Checklist. Displayed on the slide is one of the tools in this document, the Evaluation Progress Checklist. This checklist provides simple yes or no questions to help you assess if your evaluation is on track or you may need to come up with some additional solutions. For instance, question 10 says, if DIF project staff are collecting the data as opposed to the evaluators, how have they been trained? It would be really valuable for a DIF project to go through this checklist now at the start of enrollment, and then at least annually to make sure things are on track to actually have the data you need for your project evaluation. As previously mentioned, you can find this checklist in the guidelines document hosted in the NCTRM library. Slide 8, Evaluation Closeout Tasks. Next, displayed on the slide, is the Evaluation Closeout Tasks tool, which lists roles and responsibilities for the grantee and the independent evaluator at the end of the evaluation and the project. It's worth reviewing now to make sure the pieces are in place, particularly if you are still finalizing the contract with your independent evaluator. You can find the complete text of this tool in the guidelines document in the NCRTM library as referenced on slide 6. Slide 9, Evaluation Budgeting Guidance. The last tool is about evaluation budgeting guidance, displayed on this slide. It's about budgeting not just money and staff, but also time. So it's a solid tool to review as you're developing the evaluation work plan. For example, if your evaluation is developing new data collection instruments like surveys or questionnaires, it's a good idea to pilot test them with a couple of participants to make sure they are written clearly and will elicit the kind of information that you want to get. So this tool is reminding you to budget staff and time for steps like that. Again, you can access this tool in the guidelines document, which is hosted in the NCRTM library as referenced on slide 6. Slide 10. Questions? Thank you for attending this session. We hope it was valuable. If you have any questions, please reach out to your assigned EBS liaison or the EBS mailbox at ebs@westat.com. Slide 11, disclaimer. The contents of this presentation were developed by New Editions Consulting, Inc. and its partner Westat under contract 91990023 D0037 91990024 F0395 from the U.S. Department of Education, the department. The department does not mandate or prescribe practices, models, or other activities described or discussed in this presentation. The contents of this presentation may contain examples of adaptations and links to resources created and maintained by another public or private organization. The department does not control or guarantee the accuracy, relevance, timeliness, or completeness of this outside information. The content of this presentation does not necessarily represent the policy of the department. This presentation is not intended to represent the views or policy of, or be an endorsement of any views expressed or materials provided by any federal agency. Edgar 75.620.